I wasn't here yesterday, but they spoke about the lines and the ballots.
Yes.
We had that initial discussion on last week.
Yeah.
And we talked about that. Is that something that you think is a plausible explanation?
So, first of all, until we know, we don't know.
Yeah.
They made the announcement that the folding lines
Yes.
is one possible explanation. It's never going to explain all.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the contributors. We don't know, but it seems that way. We have been looking the image files we've done with the other scanner.
Yeah.
We see the fault lines there too. I'm actually just designing a program to go through the images and try to extract as much data, also for visualization purposes, to show the audience what this. I don't even know what it's going to look like when I pull that information.
Right.
So this is still a hypothesis.
Yeah.
It's a strong hypothesis. And also we are right now finding that and we have sent an information request to all jurisdictions in New Hampshire. We are getting more information which is pointing out that under certain conditions this element is in play in other jurisdictions too. But it's really a question of when the fault line is running through the vote target. Second part here is obviously if you see the 4 tapes, you see that one machine is taking more effect of that. So the next question is, the fault line is explaining some. Why this one machine seems to be more sensitive to that? Is it a maintenance issue? Is it a calibration issue? Whatever it is, we have to look into that too.
So on election day, November 3rd, machine 1 had 18 overvotes. Machine 2 had 292. 3 and 4, I believe, had 87 and 64. However, on the audit day, machines 1 reported 132. And that was pretty consistent throughout all 4 machines. I think 132, 132, 129, and I think 1 was 184.
So one thing is, we have to look why it's working differently. We have to look at, and remember, the election day, the ballots didn't go through. All ballots didn't go through one machine. So if you have one machine which have a calibration issue, or physical maintenance issue like more dust inside, which we want to explore, it's natural that now when you run all the ballots through every machine, you have an amplifying effect based on that unique condition of that machine. So the fact that difference is absolutely, kind of expected, because this is not the election day setup where all the ballots go through once through 4 machines, but instead all go through every of the 4 machines.
So you have 2 different things that we're talking about. We're talking potentially the fold and the lines. So there's actually 2 kinematic artifacts. If that plausible hypothesis, that strong hypothesis you mentioned, at the bottom, where that fold would typically go through Julia Sodi, which is a Republican candidate, as well as a write-in candidate, that's a question that I had.
It's not that simple.
Okay.
So when you look at the images, the line is sometimes going through the Democratic candidate, sometimes through the Republican candidate. Of course, when it goes through the Republican candidate, it also goes through the write-in.
Yes.
But we found out that they started by hand-folding those, and then they found a machine they used for car registrations, and they used a mechanical folding for the rest of the ballots. Tomorrow we will know more about that mechanical machine. I don't even know the model of that mechanical machine. I was just told that it's the size of a refrigerator. So it's
can you explain to us where you're seeing the kinematic artifact on the top of the ballot? Because that's what you're talking about with the state rep is on the bottom. There's also going to be one at the top.
There is of course, because it's folded 3 ways. So there is a.
And what race is that going through?
I have to go through and look. That's why I'm just saying that I'm writing a program which will look the images, and we will find where all those are, because some ballots are actually folded 4 times because somebody in a voter has been decided to fold it twice or whatnot. So we have to look where the actual lines are. I cannot give you an answer until I write the software which actually looks the images and builds that information.
Do you have a copy of the ballot specifications as outlined by the Ballot Law Commission?
A ballot commission and the legal part, they do. I have been asking personal question, why the Republican and Democrat candidates are not in the same line, and I was given an explanation that was a conscious decision to avoid confusion that and creating a appearance that those are matched pairs who are running against each other. So I have been trying to figure out why the ballot definition is why it's designed that way. All of that is still I'm just gathering.
So you'll speak to the ballot
I'm
design?
obviously going to be finding out who designed it, who signed it off, what was the discussion. I know now that the discussion was trying to make certain that the voter doesn't think that you have to choose between the two. You can choose whoever you want.
Right. I think the public has been asking quite a few questions, social media and elsewhere, about ballot design in particular. So do you think the audit team will address that at some point in time?
So as I said multiple times, we have been looking this particular machine, how ballot design affects us over 10 years and started in Florida. So there's already a lot of information gathered. Of course, Florida designs the ballots for the same machine completely different way as it's designed here. So we have to take a look into what caused this, so that also we can say recommendations how to prevent this to ever happen again. If we are continuing this path, we will have more mail-in ballots, which means more paper which is being folded. One answer is to spend the money and use big envelope where you don't need to fold it. One answer is to change how you design so that fold lines don't go through the target. We have to take a look in that. I cannot jump to conclusions.
Last question.
Yeah.
Investigator Tracy that just walked by us, he had taken out a box earlier today. Are you aware of that box? He took out a box out of that area that was in the
Who took the box?
Investigator Tracy.
Okay.
Are you aware of that? And if so, what was in?
I have to ask what the investigator Tracy was. I wasn't aware that any box has been taken out.
Could we ask him?
Sure.
Mr. Tracy,
Yes, sir.
there was a box that was removed earlier today by you. Could you describe what that box was?
A box removed by me?
Yes, sir.
The only box I remember carrying out today, some box lunches for the state police.
Okay, so but that came from the interior of the space?
No, it came from here.
Okay.
There was 6 box lunches and 6 bottled waters in the box. And I think there's a couple other people that saw me. You can ask the trooper 135, I think was his plate number. I handed them to him.
Okay.
The state police.
All right. Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.